بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم جميعا. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Dr. Munira Al-Khayas from the Medical Laboratory Science Department. This is the first webinar by the e-learning committee at the Faculty of Allied Health Sciences. We waited this long so that we reached a certain threshold of number of people who activated their KU account so that the webinar we have today is of maximal benefit. We want to thank Jarrib, which is a volunteer group who very kindly hosted our session today, and they're a group trying to facilitate the stepping into e-learning. And I would like to also thank, and it's a pleasure to have, Engineer Mohammad Al-Eidi giving today's session. And I want to say that today's session, inshallah, will be recorded. All the resources will be available after the session. And as Engineer Mohammad said, we have a Q&A. The Q&A is for your questions related to Teams and the technical aspects of Teams. We urge you to wait until further down the webinar so that if your question might be asked now and then he answers it within the actual session, it's better to wait. And the chat is for a direct interaction. So if he's asking, can you see, can you hear, if you can interact there. ويعطيكم العافية وما نبي نطول because there, as you know, there's another session coming. But we hope at the end, if you stay with us, we will attempt to answer as many questions as we can. تفضل مهندسنا.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. I just want to say my thanks to Dr. Munira and Dr. Iman for giving me this opportunity, as well as Jarrib KW for providing this webinar for us and for all their efforts in sharing online education and advocating for online education. Okay, so my name is Mohammad Al-Eidi. I'm a petroleum engineer by profession. And today we'll be talking about the program Microsoft Teams, which hopefully will be used in Kuwait University for distance learning in case we don't return to the college in real life, by August. So in this session, we'll go through a series of things. First, we'll introduce the program. We'll quickly just see how to download it because it's pretty easy, and how to sign in. And after that, we'll basically go through the steps that a teacher would need to begin a class. So we'll see how you can create a class and what is a class, which is called a team in this program. We'll also see how we can interact with the students inside this team or class and how we can share folders with them and so on and so forth. We'll also see how we can schedule meetings with those students, and a meeting is basically a virtual class. In Teams, it's called a meeting. So we'll know how to hold these meetings, schedule them, and then hold these meetings and how to interact with the students inside these meetings so that we can teach them the material we want to teach them, and we can share our files with them, our PowerPoint or any PDF, and annotate on it, and so on and so forth. And lastly, if we have time, we'll explain how to upload assignments for students and how to grade these assignments. Okay, so first we'll start with downloading the program. So we'll go to Google and we'll simply type download MS Teams. Okay, download MS Teams, just type it in Google and we'll just enter the first site. All right, so here we'll find this screen, and on the left side, since we're on a computer, we'll use download for desktop. We'll click on that, and then we have this button here. We'll just click download Teams, and we'll wait for it to download. So we see the file down here and it is downloading. Of course, I already have it downloaded, so I will not download it right now. I'll cancel the download. But once it's downloaded, this is basically the installer. I will run this installer by clicking here and go through the steps of the installer to download the program, and then I'll have it on my screen. All right. So once I have the program on my screen, I can just search for it. If I write Teams, I'll find the program here after I install it. All right. And then when I click it to open it, I'll get this window. Okay. So now we know how to download it. Now we want to sign in. So as a faculty member, we'll sign in with our KU email. Today, I'm using Dr. Munira's email. Thankfully, she gave me her email so that I could use it to explain all the the specific permissions that only faculty members have, so that I can show you guys. So you'll type your university email here and make sure that it ends with @ku.edu.kw. All right. I know some people might have the HSC email, but we should use this email instead. All right. So we'll just click on sign in, and then we'll enter the university email password, which is the same as your university portal password. Here, I think my password is already saved for this email. So I'll just wait for my account to sign in. Okay, now I'm signed in here. So basically, this is the first screen that I'll see when I enter Microsoft Teams. And just to make sure, the password that you'll use is the same as the portal password for the university portal. Okay, so this is basically Teams, and it consists of 3 different parts. We have this left navigation bar, and it has different buttons on it. Currently, we are on this button, the Teams button. We have many different buttons here, and these buttons, basically, they're my way of navigating through Teams. So whichever button I click, this main screen here, the big screen, will show me the contents of this button. Okay, so the second component is this big screen. And the third one is the bar up here. But the main thing that we want to know about this bar is here, which is our user or profile. We can see our name. We can change the picture, our status, available, busy, or whatever. And we have set a status message. This is especially useful for a faculty member. Here you can put your office hours, for example, so students can know when to contact you or when to expect you to reply to them. And we also have the settings. This is pretty important for Teams. Anytime you need to change any setting, you'll go to this settings screen and you'll get this screen. There's no apply or okay. Anything that you choose will be applied immediately. All right. So once you change anything, you can change the theme, you can change the layout, choose it, and then just click the X and it will be applied. Okay, so now that we're done with the download and sign in and overview, we'll talk about what we'll focus on today from these buttons. We'll focus first on the Teams button, as well as the calendar button, and we'll talk about the activity button too. Okay, so let's start one by one. So as I said, here we have the Teams button, since I am on the Teams button, as you can see on the top left. So these are the teams that I have on Microsoft Teams. A team is basically a group of people that are working on a project, or a group of people in the same company working on different projects, or a teacher with his class. So that's basically what a team is. All right, and we have different teams here. If I click on any single one of them, it will take me to this team. And I can go back on the top left here. I'll just go back and I can view my teams here again. All right, so our main thing is we want to create a new team, basically a new team or a new class for our students. Okay, so on the top right corner, we can see this button, join or create team. If we click on this button, it will take me to this screen. Okay, and I can do 2 things in this screen. I can either create a new team, which is what I want to do because I want to create a class for my students. All right, or I have join a team with a code. This section will be mostly used by students. Once I create a team, I could either add them manually or share a code with them. They can enter the code here and immediately enter my team or my class. So this section is strictly for the students. And hopefully by August, KU might make a feature with Microsoft Teams such that students are automatically added into teams and I will not have to share a code with them to join. But if that doesn't happen, we'll know how to get a code to give it to the students so that they can join my team with this code. Okay, so we'll go ahead and create a team. Okay, and we can see this screen pop up. It's telling me to select a team type. So there are many types of teams. What we're interested in is the class team, which is what a teacher would make. Okay, other types are staff, for example. So I could, if in the physiotherapy department, for example, I could make a team for that department, and inside it I can have the different committees and the different work they're gonna do. But for now, we'll focus on class, which is the kind of team that a teacher would be interested in to teach his students. So just click on that. And now it will tell me to choose a name for this class. So we'll just call it Physiotherapy 101. Shout out to all the physiotherapists in the room. And we can add a description to this team, but it's up to you if you want to add it or not. It's optional. So after we choose a name, we'll just click on next. It will create the team for us. Okay. Now it says add people to Physiotherapy 101. Okay, so I see that I can add students here, or I could add teachers. So what's the difference? A teacher would have more permissions inside the team. So for example, I could add my teacher's assistant here, and he will join me as an owner for the team. Okay, and here is where I can add my students. So here I have to add them manually one by one, and that's pretty tedious, but most likely we'll just add them through a code. Here I'll just try to add myself. As I said, I'm using Dr. Munir's account, not my account. So my account is different. It's Mohammad Al-Eidi. And here you want to make sure that when you type the name, it's pretty important that you type @ and type the first part of their email, because sometimes you might find two Mohammad Al-Eidi, okay? And they might not have a picture, so you would not know which is which, okay? One from engineering, for example, and one from science. So the engineering will have ENG, and from science will have SCI. So you have to distinguish by writing this first part of the second part of the email, okay? So my email is @grad, for graduate, okay? So it's telling me that this is Mohammad Al-Eidi from the graduate studies. So I know that this is the guy I'm looking for, okay? And I'll add him. After I put his name, I clicked on add, and now we have his name down here. Okay, and we could also add teachers, but we will not do that now. Okay, so if I hit close, the team will be created, and I will have the team basically. Close, yes, and now I have my team. As you can see here, this is the team, Physiotherapy 101. I can go back to all teams, and I will find it here on the lower left corner. Okay, so I'll go inside this team, and this is the team that we created. Okay, and now we're going to talk about managing the settings for this team. Okay, so we'll click on these three dots next to the Physiotherapy 101 on the top left corner. Okay, it says more options. Okay, so it will give me many options for this team. I could leave the team, I could edit it by the name or so. I could manage the team, I could add members here, or I could add channels. We'll talk about channels later, but let's click on manage team. All right, it will take me to this window. In this window, I have the owners here, Munir Al-Khais, which is this account I'm using. I'm the owner. Okay, and down here, if I click here, I can see the members of this team. So Mohammad Al-Eidi is a member. Okay, and here I can change his role. So I could make him an owner, but he's a student, so I will not. If by accident I added my TA here, I could just simply click here and make the TA an owner, and he will be up here with me, and he will have the same permissions that I have to edit the team, and so on and so forth. Okay, so as we said, after we create the team, we want to add members. We could click here to add more members manually, but we said it's better to let them join with a code. So up here, we could click on settings, okay? Once we go to settings and we go down the list, we have team code. So if we click on team code, we could click generate, and now we have a code for this team. So I could take this code, I could share it with my students if I have a platform like Twitter, for example, or I could put it on the official college website for them to see it and join. Or hopefully by August, we would have the KU feature where they would be automatically added by integrating teams with the KU portal. And I could click reset here to change this code. So if this code got out of hand and the wrong people are joining, I could reset it to make the team have a new code and share it again with the right people. Okay, so we spoke about the code thing and how we can edit the team settings. We'll just go back to the team window. 1 second. Okay. We'll go back to the main team window. The next step we'll talk about is channels. So what are channels? Under the Physiotherapy 101, we see here that we have this button and it says General. So this is basically a channel. If I see here, it tells me channel notification, manage channel. This is basically a channel. So what is a channel? A channel is basically a place inside a team that has its own conversations, its own files, and its own assignments, and so on and so forth. So an example for different channels would be if in the physiotherapy department there are many committees, I could create a channel for each committee, and it could have its separate chat and its separate files for that specific committee. So that's the purpose basically of having different channels within a team, is to separate the different projects inside a team. And whenever you create a team, you'll have this general channel. It's the main channel. It has to be there and you cannot delete it. So the general channel has to be there. Okay. And inside each channel, as you can see up here, next to the word general, we have different tabs. These are basically tabs, all right? So each tab does a different thing and has a different purpose. We'll go and explain them one by one, except for the class notebook. We will not speak about this one in this session, maybe hopefully in the advanced session later on. But today we'll focus on the posts tab, the files tab, as well as the assignments and the grades tab. Okay, so first we'll talk about the post tab. Okay, so what is the post tab? The post tab is basically, one second, sorry. This is the files tab, all right. I have to do this first because it has to work on getting a file first before I could explain further. One second, it's not connecting properly. Okay, it loaded. Okay, I just needed to load to explain the post tab because it has a related section. Okay, so the post tab is basically where I put all my announcements to the students. It's where I could start a conversation with the students. I could ask them questions. You could basically think of it as your own Twitter. You can put posts and each post can have its own replies. Okay, so let's start to write a post. Okay, so we'll just click here. We can write anything we want. I'll just write hello, but this is the simple view. Okay, if I click on this button down here, it says format, the letter A button on here. If I click it, it will open this window. So it will allow me to add a subject to this post, which is better. For example, I want to share the syllabus of the class with the students. I'll tell them hello, welcome to the class. Please check the attached syllabus. Okay, sorry. Okay, and this is basically a post. Okay, and here I can attach folders too. So if I want to attach a folder, I click on this button here, attach. If I click on it, it will give me different options of sharing folders. I could either share from recent files that I've used on Teams. I could share from any file that I have on a different team or a different channel. I could share from OneDrive, which is my own cloud that I have files on the internet, or I could upload from my computer. And generally, generally I will upload from my computer. But instead of clicking here, another thing I can do is I can basically drag and drop the folder that I want. So I want to put the syllabus here. From the desktop, I can drag it and drop it here. All right, and now I dropped it. I could upload the file immediately, or it's giving me this option, class materials. Okay, so what is this class materials file? This file, anything that I put inside it, the students can only view. They cannot edit it. So anything that's related to the class materials, I will put inside this folder because the students cannot edit it. Only I can edit it. The students can only view it or download it. Okay, so for the syllabus, I don't want them to edit the syllabus or do anything else with it other than viewing or downloading. So instead of just clicking upload and uploading it out here in the general channel, as it's saying, this is the general channel, I want to upload it inside the class materials file which is inside the general channel. Okay, so I'll just click on it. And now it says general and then class materials. So now I'm inside the class materials folder, which is inside the general channel. Okay, I'll just click upload and you'll see the file uploading down here. Okay, another thing that I can do here is I can mention people. So if I put at, I could mention either Mohammad himself, or I could write the channel's name, which is general. If I write general, I'll find the channel. So I can mention the channel, or I could mention the whole team. So if I write physiotherapy, yeah, I get the whole team here. I can mention the team. So I'll click on it and it will mention the team here. What does a mention do? A mention will give a notification to everyone that you posted this post in this channel. So it will appear here in the activity button on the left, which we'll speak about later. But that's the purpose of the mention. It's good to use it when you have an important announcement and you want everyone to see it. Mention the whole team or the whole channel, so that they can so that you can make sure that they see this post. Okay. And up here we have two different options. We have this one which says everyone can reply. If I click on it, it's set to everyone can reply. So this post, anyone can click it and reply to it, just like a Twitter post. Or I could use you and moderators can reply. Moderators are basically your TAs, for example, but we'll keep it as everyone can reply. Okay. And here we have a new conversation. Let's click on this button. It's basically telling me that this post is basically called a conversation. Okay. I can change it to be an announcement. The difference is that it will add a header. So I could click on announcement here. It will give me a headline for this post. So I could say, welcome to Physiotherapy 101. Okay, just the headline for my post. So my post has a headline now. It has the subject here, syllabus. I mentioned the people and I welcomed them to the class and told them to see the syllabus, which I attached. Okay, and I can post this post to different channels if I click here, but currently I only have one channel and we'll just post it here, but for later use, you could use this. All right. So the post is now ready. And what we can do is we can send it. We'll either click on send down here, or I'll just press enter on my keyboard. Once I press enter, oh, sorry, because I think I have an attachment, I'll have to click on send to send it. All right. All right. I think someone raised his hand. Please, if throughout any time of this session you have a question, kindly refer to the Q&A part and you could ask your question there, and we'll refer to all the questions at the end of the session. So you could try to also be as specific as possible so that we could come to it later. Okay, thank you. So we have the post now. Okay, so as I said, the post is very similar to a Twitter post. I can reply to it. So instead of making a new post to reply, I could reply here. If I'm a student, I could tell the teacher, thank you. But this will appear as a different post, and we don't want that. We want to click on reply here so that we have the post tab to be tidy and clean. Okay. So we'll click on reply. And as we can see here, I can make a reply. I can write thank you, for example. Okay. And I will send it. And I just pressed enter and it was sent. Okay, of course, I'm just replying to myself here, but students could reply to me. If I made a typo in a post, I could go here and click on the three dots for this reply, or for the post even. Okay, but let's go for these three dots. What's the purpose of this is to click on edit. So if I click on edit and I had a typo, I could fix it. I just want to write thanks. And if I click here on the done mark or check mark, I'll have the reply edited. And it will tell people that it was an edited reply. Okay, so that's about the posts tab. And by the way, any file we're put here in the post tab will automatically appear in the files tab. So as we saw, when I uploaded this, it asked me where to upload it, to the general channel or the class materials inside the general channel. So this is basically the post tab that we'll get to see now. Okay, so we'll go to the post tab, and the syllabus that we made should be here, but inside this folder. Okay, so we go inside this folder. and we found the syllabus that we made. We can open it here inside the program, and it will open here inside Teams. Okay, or we can go back to the general files, and we'll see all of our files here. So as we said, this files tab basically has all the files associated with this channel only. If I have another channel, it will have its own files tab. So don't worry about mixing up the files between different channels. Okay. And any folder that's found here on the outside could be edited by anyone. And inside here, it could only be edited by the owner. So that's only me or maybe the teacher's assistant. Okay. So what kind of files could we put outside here so that all the students could edit it? Maybe we could put an Excel file and ask them to type in their names and university IDs, for example. So they all can click here and edit that file, and we'll have it updated automatically. Okay, and this file section is basically a cloud. What is a cloud? It's basically online memory that's provided by the Microsoft company. So any file I put here is available online, but not on my PC. Okay, so I uploaded this from my PC, so I have it in both places. But the main thing is any file that I put here, I can access it online from any computer. I don't have to have my main laptop with me all the time. I can just go on Teams and find the file here in the cloud that's associated with the general channel in the physiotherapy team. Okay, so what can we do here? Here we can create a new folder. We could make a folder or a Word document, an Excel workbook, a PowerPoint, anything we can make here. I could create a random folder here. I'll just call it folder, create. As you can see, it created a folder here. Okay, or I could create a Word file or Excel file, and it will allow me to enter anything I want inside and then save it here. Okay, and the nice thing about this being a cloud is that any file that we edit here doesn't need to be saved. It's always automatically saved and uploaded to the server. So we don't have to worry about saving the file. It will be automatically saved, as we'll see soon. Okay, so other than creating a file, we could upload files. We could click on upload here, and it will allow me to upload from my PC. But it should also allow me to upload from different places inside Teams. But I could upload any file from my PC, or I could simply drag and drop. So I have this Excel file here. I'll drag and drop this file here. You could see it saying uploading. Okay, and it got uploaded. Okay, so let's try opening this file. I'll open this Excel file. And as you can see, on the top left corner, it gave me the name of the file, data.xlsx. Okay, and it opened Excel inside Teams, so I don't have to leave Teams to work on Excel. And as we said, there is no save button. If I write anything here, I wrote hello, it's automatically saved. If I click on close on the top right corner, this hello will stay here. It's automatically saved. And that's what I mean by anyone can edit this file. And if I have the file open and I have a different person inside the file with me, it will tell me up here that there's another person inside, and it will tell me in which sheet he is and where he is standing, in which cell, okay? And the same applies to Word, the same applies to PowerPoint. So I can collaborate on folders with my TA, for example, or anyone else here online on the same folder, and we can see what each of us is doing. Okay. So when we want to close the folder, make sure to not close Teams by clicking the red button. No, just hit the close button here. It will close the folder. And the hello that I wrote was automatically added here. And as you can see, the folder has been modified a few seconds ago by my account. Okay, so what if this file is in the wrong place and I want to put it inside the class materials? I cannot drag and drop. What I'll have to do is I'll click here on show actions, and I'll look for move, okay, because I want to move the file. So I'll click on move. It shows me the different folders that I have. I want to move it inside the class materials. I'll click here, click move, and it will go inside. So now students cannot edit this file. All right. Another thing that we can do is we could download material. How can we do that? I'll just select whatever I want to download. Sorry, class materials cannot be. So I clicked on this folder and I will click on download here. Okay. And the file was downloaded and I'll find it in my downloads file. If I write downloads, this is the folder that I downloaded. It was inside a zip format. So I can open the zip file and find the folder that I downloaded here inside the downloads folder. Okay. And another thing that we can do is that we can move the folders, and we talked about that. And yeah, that's basically it for the files tab. Okay, so we spoke about the files tab now, and we said pretty much most of the things you need to know about it. Okay, now we want to talk about channels and their settings. Okay, so here is the general channel, and everyone can type now. Okay, I'll go to my student account to just showcase it. My student account is open on Google Chrome. Okay, so let's open the team as a student. And you'll see here that I have Dr. Munira's post and I could reply to it. Okay, but sometimes I want this general channel to only be for announcements. So I don't want students to write anything in it. So I'm back to the doctor's account. I will edit the channel. How will I do that? I'll go to the channel and go to the three dots here, more options, manage channel. Okay, so here it's telling me permissions, set channel moderation preferences. So for the general channel, anyone can post or only owners can post messages. I will change it to only owners so that only I can make any posts. Okay. So now I'll go back to the channel and I don't have to save it. It's automatically saved. Okay, once again, you'll go here, manage channel, and then you'll put only owners. All right. Now I can see the same thing, but for the student cannot reply anymore. Only owners can send messages in this channel. Okay. So this is a great idea to make the general channel just a place for announcements so that any announcement doesn't get lost, and you put everything that you want the students to see here. Okay, so if they can't chat here, we can make another channel for them. And how can we do that? We'll click on the three buttons here for the team, and we'll click on add channel. Okay, so we'll write a name for this channel. We'll call it discussion because we want people to discuss here. Okay, and we could add a description for it. We don't need to do that. And we'll choose the type of team. Is it a standard or private team? We'll choose standard, which means everyone in the team of physiotherapy can see this channel and can enter this channel. Okay, we'll talk about the private one soon. And here it says automatically show this channel in everyone's channel list. It's important to check this because otherwise it will be hidden for other people. They'll have to navigate to the hidden channels and then view it. So if you click here, it will automatically be viewed for them and they don't have to reveal it. Okay, so we made the discussion channel. We'll just click add. Okay, and now we have the discussion channel. So we have the general channel and the discussion channel, and we can navigate between them here. And as we said, and as you can see, each channel has its own posts tab and its own files tab. Okay, so on the discussions file, you'll not see the class materials file. It's only in the general one. So here students can share folders between them, students can chat. I'll tell them that this channel is for class discussions only. I'll just post it here. All right, so now they know that the discussion channel is for discussing class materials. And let's make another channel, but make it private. It's the same thing. Click here on the three dots, go to add a channel, and then type the name. We'll just call it private. And now we'll choose it to be private. So the difference is it said next, not add, when I made it private. Because a private channel only has specific members of the team. So when I click next, it will tell me which members do you want to add in this private channel. So I'll add Mohammad, for example, and click add. Or I could add teachers to this private channel. So now if there are 10 people in this team of Physiotherapy 101, only Mohammad can enter this private channel when I click on done. So what's the purpose of this? It can be useful for if you want a channel between you and your TA only, you can make one. or if you are dividing your students into group inside the classroom and each group is working on a project, you can make for each group their own private channel so they can discuss their progress with you. They can upload their files for you, and they can work privately between themselves and show you their work without other students seeing their works. So you could make, if you divide the class into 4 groups, for example, you could make 4 different private channels and add the students of each group to the specific channel. So that's the purpose for the private channel. So now that we spoke about the different channels and how to create them and how to navigate between them, we'll quickly speak about the activity tab or the activity button here. The activity button, you can think of it as your emails inside Teams. Anyone that mentions you, it will appear here. Anyone that replies to your post will appear here. So anything that anyone does as an interaction with you will appear here. So I can see my feed and I can filter it. If I click here on filter, I can filter my feed. If I click on these 3 dots, I can filter to unread, mentions, replies, reaction, and many other things, okay? So this is basically to filter my feed. And if I click on any part of the feed, so here it's telling me Mohammed reacted to a post. If I click on it, it will take me to that post and it will highlight it in yellow. So I click here. It took me to that post and highlighted it in yellow. And now it became white again, okay? So the activity button is basically to show you anyone who interacted with you. Okay, so that's basically for the first part of the session, which is how to create a class and how to interact with the student. Just quickly, if you could type in the chat, was it clear? Was I going too fast? Do you need a quick recap? And Dr. Munira could tell me afterwards, what are you writing? If you could just write in the chat. You could write fast if I'm going too fast, or okay if I'm going just fine.
Okay. يعطيك العافية مهندس. A lot are saying very clear. Go ahead. One question from Dr. Saud Al-Eidi, and how to clear the activity tab.
Actually, I'm not sure about that. I don't think that's possible. Yeah, I don't think that's possible. Actually, you cannot clear this tab. It's not that similar to emails, basically. But the main point is that you can filter it. But yeah, as far as I know, that's as much as you can do. Is you can filter the activity that you're seeing here.
All right. Everyone's happy with the speed. So far,
Great.
so good. تفضل.
Sorry, just taking a sip of water. Okay, so the second part is the calendar part. And you can see here on the left side, we'll click on calendar. Okay, and it will take me to this calendar. Here is basically where I will schedule any new meeting. A meeting is a virtual class, as we said. And we can see my schedule if I have any meetings in the future and so on and so forth. You can see that the columns correspond to days. Okay, and I can go right and left by clicking these buttons here, right or left. Okay, and the rows, each row or each highlighted slot is a time slot of 30 minutes. So this one is from 2 to 2:30. This one is from 2:30 to 3, and so on and so forth. I could go up and down by scrolling to see anything I have. And as you can see here, the view now on the top right corner is work week. Okay, and the work week in the US is different than us. It starts on Monday and ends on Friday. So we wouldn't like this view. We have the daily view, which only shows me one day. So this is today. And this yellow line is, or orange line, so sorry, is where I am at now, which it's 5:15, so it's here. Okay, and the best option is to click on, of course, you can see that it's Sunday today. Okay, the best option is to click on week. If we click on week, we have the entirety of the week, 7 days, Sunday to Saturday, and I can navigate right and left between them. Okay, by clicking on these arrows once again. Okay, so I can see my week and what classes I have and any other meetings I have. This is the workshop that will be held after this one. Okay, so as we said, it's divided into 30 minutes time slots. So now we want to schedule a new meeting, which is basically a class for my students, okay? So I can either click on any time slot. If the class is at 12 p.m., for example, I will click here. It will make a meeting starting at 12 and I can adjust the end time, okay? Or I could click on a new meeting. I prefer that. Just click on new meeting on the top right hand corner, new meeting, and it will give me this meeting screen. This is where I basically schedule my meeting or my class. Okay, so first we have the title. This will be my physiotherapy class. So I will write physiotherapy 101 class. It's important to write a clear name like this so that my students, when they see it in their calendar, they will know that this is the physiotherapy 101 class. Okay, and here we can see add required attendees. Here we have to insert the emails of the students one by one, unfortunately, but it would be good if you have them on an Excel sheet and you can copy and paste them one by one. And we'll see why we need to add them here instead of just associating this meeting with this channel. So for now, I just have myself. I'll just add myself, Mohammad Al-Eidi, and I can add any other students. There is also an optional option. If I click it, I can add optional attendees. For example, if you want to add the TA here, he can attend if he likes, or he just could skip the class. Okay, so you could add him as an optional attendee. But that's not very important. We will mostly add the students here. And unfortunately, so far we have to do it one by one. So as I said, copy paste from Excel sheet would be the best option. Unless Microsoft Teams makes a new feature that allows me to add a whole channel, that would be great. But so far that option is not available. Anyone that we add in the required attendees will get two things. He'll get an email telling him that a meeting has been scheduled. So he'll get an email. Okay, and he'll also have this meeting appear on his calendar. As we saw in our calendar, we have different meetings. He'll have this appear in his calendar. So that's very important, and we want it to appear in the student's calendar. That's why we have to add the student here. Okay, then we have this option to choose the date of the class. Let's say, for example, I have a class on Monday. Okay, and the class starts at 12 p.m. and ends at 2 p.m. and it will say 2 hours. So I'll choose the date and the start time, the end date, which will be the same date, sorry, the same date for this class, and the end time of the meeting. So it's 2 hours and it told me 2 hours. Okay, it will also suggest some times for me based on different things. Okay, so we chose the class time. Okay, now since we said we have to add the students one by one, and my class is weekly, I don't want to make this meeting every week. I want my program to repeat it for me. So, or Microsoft Teams to repeat it for me automatically. So what should I do? Here, this is the recurrence. So if I click here, I could click on weekly because every week on Monday at 12 p.m., I have a class, the physiotherapy class. So it says occurs every Monday starting June 22nd. Okay. But it doesn't tell me when the last day is, or doesn't let me specify it. What if I want to specify the last day? Maybe the last day of school will be on 15th of July, for example. So I want to specify that. So what should I do? I'll click here. I'll go down here to custom. Okay. So when I go to custom, it has the start date that I chose, which is June 22nd. It says repeat every 1 week. So it will repeat this meeting every 1 week. So every week. If my class is every 2 weeks, I could write 2, but it's every week. So I'll just write 1. And here it's showing me the different days of the week. Monday is highlighted automatically because my meeting is on Monday. So Monday is automatically highlighted. What if I had 2 classes every week on Monday and Wednesday? I can simply just click on Wednesday. So now I will have a meeting every Monday and Wednesday at 12 p.m. To 2 p.m. and it will appear weekly on the calendar for all the students. All right, but my class is actually just on Monday, so I can remove it from Wednesday, and now I just have it on Monday. And this is what we spoke about, the end date. When is the date of the last class? Let's say it's on this Monday, 17th of August. This is the last class. So if I click here, now I have an end date for the meetings. So now this meeting will repeat weekly until 17th of August. If I didn't put this here, the meeting will repeat forever until I cancel it. So it's better to put an end date. And I wanted to explain this custom section because some people have 2 classes every week, not 1 class. Some people have 5 days a week, so, and so on and so forth. Okay. So now it's giving me basically a summary of this meeting. It says occurs every Monday starting June 22nd until August 17th. Okay. I'll just click on save. And now it's saved. Okay. Now it's telling me to add a channel. Of course, my channel is the physiotherapy one. So I'll go to the physiotherapy team down here. And then I have different channels inside it. I'm going to choose general because I want the meeting to appear there. Okay. So I chose physiotherapy general. What this does basically is that in the post tab of the general channel inside the physiotherapy team, it will show me a post saying you have a meeting scheduled every Monday for the next, so on and so forth. So students can enter the meeting from there. They can join the meeting from there. And anything that happens inside this meeting from any chat or files or recording of the lecture will also appear there in the general channel. That's why it's important to choose a channel. But please know that the channel that I choose here, not the students will not get an email, and the students will also not get it in their calendar. They'll only see it in the post tab. That's why it's important to add all the students here and the required attendees. We want all the students to get an email and all of them to also get it on their calendar. Okay. So even though we chose this team here, it will not send an invite to all of them. Hopefully that's changed in the future and inside Microsoft Teams, but that's the situation now. The next one is location. It's an online meeting or a virtual class, so it will have no location, so I don't need to add one. And here I can write a description or anything I want, but I'll just keep it empty and we'll speak about it later. Okay, and once we're done, we'll click here on send. Okay, once we click on send, we'll see that the meeting appeared here. Okay, and if we go to the next week, we'll also find it. The next week, we'll also find it until 17th of August. See here, 17th of August. When I go to next, it's not here anymore. Okay, so let's go back to the current day. We're in June 22nd, and we have the meeting here. Okay, now that we made the meeting, what if we want to adjust it? What if we made a mistake when making this meeting? For example, let's say that the class ends on 2:30 and not 2 p.m. and we want to fix that. What do? We'll just click on any one of the repeating meetings. So we'll click on this one. And it's showing you the meeting that's on 22nd and not the whole series of meetings. Now what I want to do is I want to edit all the meetings that I created until 17th of August. So how do I edit all of them at once? It's very important to click on view series here. Please focus, it's right in the middle, view series. When I click on it, it will view the whole series that I made. We can see here occurs Monday starting June 22nd and ends on August 17th. So now I'm editing the whole series, all the meetings that I made, not the single one that I just chose. Okay, so it's pretty important to click on view series before editing the whole series. Okay, so as we said, we want to change the end time to become 2:30. And we also want to change the meeting options. Okay, you can see this meeting options button. We want to change it. Once we click on it, it will take us to a website where we can adjust some settings. Okay, currently I will not click on it. I will right click and hit copy link because I already have a different account on Google Chrome. So I have to open this link, copy link, and open it on a different browser. I'll open it here on a different browser. Okay, and now it will show me the options for this meeting. Let's wait for it to load. Okay, so now we have this. It's saying Physiotherapy 101 class. So I know that these are the options for this meeting. That's called Physiotherapy 101 class. And saying occurs every Monday It said every Monday. So I know that I'm editing the whole series and not editing a single meeting. Okay, and I'm the owner of the meeting. So what do you want to change? We want to change this option, who can present. Why do you want to change that? I want it to be only me. Only I can present. Why? Because a presenter inside a meeting is someone who can share their PowerPoint slides or their screen, and is someone who can record the meeting. So I don't want students to have that option in my class. So I will keep it to only me. Or I could add specific people. If I click it, I would have to add emails for the specific people. I could give the permission to my TA, so my TA can be the presenter too. But for now, we'll keep it as only me. Okay, and we'll click save. Once again, as we said, a presenter is someone who can share the screen and can record the meeting. So we only want the teacher to be able to do that. Okay, so I save the meeting settings. I can just close it now. Close it. I'm back at Teams. Okay, now I change the time and I change the meeting options. What I can do now is click on the top right corner. It said send update. Once I click it, it will send another email to all the required attendees that I added here, telling them that we updated. Okay, so we'll send this update. And the update is now sent, and you'll see the meeting is loading again. Okay, what if we want to adjust a single meeting, an individual meeting? So the class for next week, I'll go to next week. This class for next week, we'll speak about slip disk. Okay, so I'll write here, please read about slipped disk online before this class. Okay, this is basically a description for the meeting. Okay, and I want to send it to the students for the next week's class. That's why I didn't click on view series. I'm just editing the meeting on the 29th of June. I can click send update, and it will send an update specifically for this meeting and not for the whole series. Okay, so it's gonna edit itself. And that's how we adjust just a single meeting. Okay, so now we know how to make a meeting, how we can make it recur, how we can edit the whole series, how we can just adjust a single meeting. We want to know how we can join a meeting. So if we want to join a meeting, we can simply click here on the meeting from the calendar and click on join up here. Okay. And if we want to invite anyone to the meeting, you see this link here, down here, join Microsoft Teams meeting. If I right click on it, it will say copy link. If I click on copy link, now I have the link copied and I can share it with anyone to invite them to the class. Okay. And as I said, we can click join here to join. Another option to join is if I go to the Teams button and I go to the physiotherapy team, and the general channel, I have the meeting here. As we said, it will appear in the post tab of the general channel. So if I click on it, it will open the same window again. Okay, and I can join the meeting from here. Sorry, it's telling me to send an update. Okay, it wants to edit it here, but discard any changes. I don't want to do any changes. But once I join the class, the student will be able to join the class from here, from the posts tab, or they can join it from the calendar. Okay, so let's join it from the calendar. Click on it and click on join. We'll have this screen here. Before we speak about it, I'll go to the student account also. Oh, sorry, wait, I'll first have to close my Zoom camera so that I could show my camera on. Okay, I closed my Zoom camera so that I could show it on Teams. 1 second. Okay, so now here, once I click on join, I will not be inside the meeting. I will be in this screen, which is called lobby. What I can do here is I can open my camera. We'll wait for it to load. Maybe it's bugging because I'm also using Zoom. It's not opening for now, but I will be able to open my camera here. The problem is that I have Zoom on, so that's why it's not turning on. I could also mute my mic or unmute it. And I could click here to change the settings. I could choose the speaker, and I could choose the microphone here. Okay, and I could also choose the camera, if it's the front camera or the back camera of the laptop. I'll just close it, it will be saved. Okay, and once I click on join, it will connect to the meeting. And now I'm inside the meeting and it says waiting for others. So I'll go to my other account. This is the student account. And as you can see, as a student, I can join from here, from the post tab. And it's telling me that Dr. Munira is inside the call. So I can join from here, or I could join from the calendar. Let's click join here. I joined here. As we said, I could open the camera. Hopefully it works now. Yeah, it's working now. Okay, so I could open the camera or I could close it and I can join. In the lobby, no, sorry, I'll mute the mic. I'll mute the other one because I'm hearing myself. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So when I'm in the lobby, no one can know that I'm inside the meeting yet because I'm in the lobby. So I can adjust my camera, adjust my mic, do whatever I want, and then enter inside the room. Okay, so in the lobby, I can adjust whatever settings I want, and then I can enter the meeting. Okay, so now that I'm inside the meeting, we want to see what we can do inside the meeting. We have these settings down here. I can turn on my camera again. You see me on the bottom right corner. And I can change my background by clicking on the three dots here and then showing background effects. Okay. I can make it a blur, a preview. You can see I have blurred my background, or I can choose a background, a different background. Yeah, I change my background again, or I can just not use any background. Okay, stop the preview, apply and turn on video. Now I have my video on, and I'll close the background settings. So the background settings, as I said, we can find them here. All right, which is here, show background effects, by clicking these three dots. Or I could close my camera. Okay, here I can mute or unmute my mic. I muted myself now because I'm calling myself, so I'm hearing myself again. So I muted myself. What else can we do inside the meeting? Yeah, we can start recording. If we click on more actions, we'll see here the start recording button. This is very important for you as a teacher to start recording each class before you start explaining, so that you'll have it later. So you can review it, you can see what you said, and also students can see the class again. And it will appear in the post tab of this channel. The recording will appear there. We'll find it in the replies for the meeting. So if we click start recording, you'll see here after the meeting, you can find this recording in the channel conversation. Got it. And now it's recording because we have this button here. Okay. So a teacher should make sure that he's recording his sessions before he starts explaining. Okay. We'll click on more actions and we'll stop recording. If you want to stop it, we'll also click on more actions and stop recording. Okay. We'll stop recording. So now we recorded maybe 10 seconds. Sorry. We'll have them in the post tab and we can find them there. Okay. But in a normal class, you start recording at the beginning and end the recording before you end the meeting. Okay. Now we'll speak about the teacher-student interaction. How can I interact with the students? If I see here, this button is called Show Participants. If I click on it, it will show me the participants on the right side. As you see, I am a presenter and Mohammad is only an attendee. Why is that? Because as you remember, we changed the meeting options before we made this meeting. We changed it such that only I can present. And if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have been able to, I would have seen myself as a presenter, and Mohammad also would have been a presenter. He would have been able to share his screen and he would have been able to record the class. So we don't want that. So that's why we did that step. So I'm a presenter and he's an attendee. And if I click here on Mohammad, I can mute him, but he's already muted, so I cannot click it. And only he can unmute himself. I cannot unmute him. Okay, so I can only mute people, but I cannot unmute them. I could make him a presenter if I want him to present, for example, or I could remove him from the call anyway. Okay, And if he was in the presenter section, I could make him an attendee individually instead of changing it in the settings. What if I forgot to change the meeting options before I enter the meeting? If we go up here, we have the meeting options. Once again, I'll copy the link. If you just click it, it will take you there. I'm doing the copy part because I have to use a different browser. Okay. If we go to this link, again, it will take me to the meeting options. And I can see, as I said it before, it's only me. If I make it everyone now, Mohammad will be a presenter. But it's already only me, so I don't have to change it. But just in case, we know how to reach this window. We'll click save after that and close it. Okay, we'll reach it through this button, which is the check and the X mark. Okay, so this is showing the participants, and we said I can mute Mohammed individually. What if I have many students? Do I have to mute them one by one? No. I will have a button appear here when I have 3 or more people. The button will say mute all. So once I click it, it will mute everyone. Okay, so that should be done in the start of every class. And there's a feature, a good feature inside Teams is that whenever 5 or more people are joining the call, they will automatically be muted. So if we have 4 people and the 5th one will join, he will automatically be muted by Teams. He can unmute himself, but he will be automatically muted when you start. Okay. So we know how to mute people. We know how to make them an attendee or a presenter by clicking the 3 dots. Now we want to talk about taking attendance. When we want to take attendance, up here, we'll find a download button. You cannot see it now because this feature has some bugs right now and not all the faculty members can see it, but hopefully this will be fixed by August. So you'll see a download button next to this button, okay? And once you click it, it will download attendance. Where will it download it? It will download it to my downloads folder. So we can search for downloads. If I open the downloads folder, after I click that button, I will find a file like this. It will say meeting attendance, and it will be the Excel file. Let's open it. This is an old example that I made. Sorry. Let's wait for it to load. We can see that it was loaded. We'll open it and we'll see this. It's giving me different names and some names are repeated. We'll know why, because it's telling me when each name joined and when each name left. So here, Munir Al-Khayis, which is my account, joined at 1 p.m. Okay, and then left at 1:54. Okay, each student will have joined and left. Okay. Up until when will it record? It will record up to the point that I click the attendees button, okay? So I should click it at the end of the class. So I have all the data. I should not click it at the start of the class, because if I click it at the start of the class and someone leaves after 10 minutes, I will not see this data point. I have to see when everyone left also. So that's why I should take attendance always at the end of the class. Okay, and I'll just fix this here to change the width. Okay, so I have full name, which are here, the user action, joined or left, and the timestamp. Okay, a better way to view this, if I select the 3 cells here and go to data, I have this filter button here. So I selected them, I went to data, and I can click on filter. Once I click on filter, I can see these buttons on each cell. And I want to filter them by name. So I'll click on the button that's next to the full name. And I'll click A to Z. We'll see now that it is arranged perfectly. I know that Ahmed joined at 1 and left at 1:50. Khalid joined at 1 and left at 1:51. I joined at 1 and left at 1:54. Here I saw that Sarah joined at 1 but left at 1:20. So maybe I should record her as absent, or maybe I could talk to her about it and why she left early. Maybe she had a condition or something, so she had to leave early. So that's why it's important to sort by name. And you can see people who join twice or leave twice. If they have a connection problem, they might leave and join again. So we'll have maybe 3 names for Sarah. Maybe Sarah left by accident through the connection error, and then she joined again. So we'll have 3 Sarah cells here. Okay, so that's the attendance. we just, let's save it. We just want to make sure that we download it by clicking a button that will look like download up here at the end of the class before I finalize and leave the meeting, okay? And it will be automatically found in the downloads folder. Let's close this. Okay, what else can we do? The next thing that we can do in regards to interaction is that the student can raise their hand. So I'll go to the student account, I'll raise my hand. I raised my hand. So when I come here, I can see here Mohammad raised his hand. And on the bottom left corner, it's telling me Mohammad raised his hand. So why is this useful? If a student wants to ask me something in the middle of the class, if I see that he raised his hand, I can tell him, okay, Mohammad, unmute your mic and ask me that question, for example. Okay. And if his hand is raised and I click here, I can lower his hand. Maybe he finished his question and I answered him and he forgot to lower his hand. So I can lower his hand and his hand is removed. Okay, so that's a pretty good way of interaction between the student and the teacher if the student wants to ask a question also. And another thing is the chat. Next to attendance or participants, we have the show conversation. This is the chat of the meeting. As we can see, and as I said before, the recording will be in the replies of the meeting. And here is the recording, okay? And anything I write here, test, I'll send it. It will also be found in the replies of the meeting after I finish the meeting. And here I can also format my post. I could also attach from my cloud, my own computer, and it will also be uploaded in the meetings chat. Where will this file go? This file will go in the meetings chat. And where is the meetings chat? It is inside my channel in the posts tab. And we said that any file that goes to the posts tab of my channel will be uploaded to the files tab of my channel. So I'll find it in the posts tab and in the files tab of this channel. Okay. And the last thing I want to say is that you can click on any button here and go to it, even if the meeting is on. So if I'm going to go and check a team, I click on the Teams button. We'll see that I went to my team and the meeting got minimized to a small screen. You can see the small screen on the top left. If I want to make it a full screen again, I'll just have to click here. But let's see this meeting here. We have this meeting and the replies that we wrote. I wrote test and we can find test here in the post tab. Okay, if I click on replies from you, to replies from you, it will expand and I will see the video that I recorded. So as I said, it will be found here in the post tab of the channel. So I want to go back to the meeting. I'll just click here anywhere on the window. It will maximize it again. So this is basically all we can do between the interaction or for the interaction between the student and the teacher. Now we'll speak about screen sharing or basically presenting. This is the most important part of today's lecture. It might also be the final part if we don't have time for assignment, but this is the most important part. So how to share your screen, okay? We'll click on share here, this share button. And you can see we have 4 options. We have desktop, we have window, we have PowerPoint, and then it's telling me to browse here. And we have the whiteboard. This browse button is for the PowerPoint, okay? So to browse PowerPoint, click on browse. So the 4 options are desktop, window, PowerPoint, and whiteboard, okay? We'll speak mainly about these 3 because these are the main 3 that any faculty member would need to use. First one is the desktop. This one will share everything on my screen. Anything that I see, the student will see. So let's click on it. Now I'm sharing my screen, okay? Now I'm sharing my screen. Anything that I can see on this window, the student also can see. So make sure that any sensitive information or secret information be hidden when you use this option, which is desktop. Okay. Why would we use desktop? Sometimes I want to open multiple folders on my desktop. I want to open a PowerPoint slide and also explain on some website, for example. I want to go to Wikipedia and show my student a website or something. Okay, so I'm going to use 2 windows, the PowerPoint window and the Google window. So that's why I need to share my whole screen and they can see everything. We'll know more about this when we go to the second option. Okay, so let's say I want to share my PowerPoint slides. So let's open the PowerPoint slides. Okay, 1 second, let me get my pen. Okay, so now we open the PowerPoint slide and we can simply start presenting by clicking this button down here, slideshow, or pressing F5 on the keyboard. Okay, if I click F5, now I have a full screen of my presentation. Of course, I can go right and left in the presentation for this to see. I can also annotate or draw on the slide. If we click down here on the left bottom corner, we'll find this pen button. If we click it, we have different options. We have a highlighter, we have a pen, we have a laser pointer. We said I want to annotate or write on the slide. So I'll click on pen and I can choose the color too, okay? So I click on pen. I can draw or write on the slides. So now I'm using my mouse, but I can also use a pen for the tablet. So now I'll use the pen and write on the slide. I'll write hello. Okay, so I can use my pen to write on my tablet if I have a tablet, because you will not be able to write properly using a mouse. You could only draw circles and so on and so forth. Okay, or you could use a laser pointer to just point things with the mouse. Okay, and of course you can still move right and left. Okay, and you can use an eraser to erase whatever you drew or wrote. Okay, anything that I touch, the whole line will be deleted after I click it, of course, with the eraser. Okay, and then I can just go right and left again. So let's say I want to have a whiteboard to write on for my students. I want a slide just to be for me to use as a whiteboard. So I already prepared a slide that's called whiteboard, and it's empty so that I can write anything that I want on it. So I'll just change the setting to pen again, and I can write here. Okay, so I have a whiteboard to write on. Another option would be to make a slide where I have questions and I'm gonna answer them here. So I'll write the answer here. This is answer 1 and this is answer 2. Okay, so I could either have an empty whiteboard or questions and I can add to them, or drawings and I can add drawings to them. Okay, and I'm just going right and left using my keyboard, by the way. Okay, so once I'm done presenting, I'll just click on escape, the escape button on my keyboard. If I click on escape, it will tell me this. Do you want to keep your ink annotations? These are the ones that I drew. Do I want to keep them or I want to discard them? If I want to share these slides with my students afterward, it's a good option to keep them. So I'll keep them, and you can see that anything that I wrote was kept. So now this PowerPoint slide, I can share it with the students in the Files tab in the class materials, so that they can find what we took inside the lecture and whatever I wrote on the board. Okay, I will just keep it here. I'll return my camera again to Zoom. 1 second. Okay. So this was the first option of sharing. After I finish with the PowerPoint, if I still have it open and I want to go show them something on Google, for example, I'll go and type in any website I want, and they'll be able to see it. Okay, and then I can go back again to the slides. And this is the advantage of sharing your whole screen. So you can go back and forth between different windows. Okay, what if I want to go back to the meeting? I'll click on the black box of the meeting. It will take me back. Okay. If I want to stop sharing my screen, I'll click here on stop sharing. And now I stopped sharing. Now we'll go to the second option, which is sharing a window. This one is pretty nice because what if I only want the student to see my PowerPoint slides and I don't want him to see anything else on my screen? I would choose one of the open windows down here. I have to have the window open before. So I have this PowerPoint window open. So I can click here and I will only share this now. If I close it or minimize it, the student will not be able to see my desktop that you guys are seeing right now. He will only see the minimized PowerPoint slides. So even though I minimized it, the student will be able to see it. If we go to the student view, he should be able to see only the slides. Let's wait for it to load. It's not loading properly because I'm using two accounts on the same laptop, but generally the student should be able to see. Let's try again. Yeah, okay. It's not working properly because I'm using two accounts on the same laptop, but he will only be able to see the PowerPoint presentation. Okay, but the main thing that I have to mention is that I have to have the PowerPoint open before I choose it as a sharing window here. Okay. So I'll stop sharing now. So we spoke about the first two options, which is sharing my whole desktop or sharing a single window that we have to have open before. The third option is to share a PowerPoint through Teams directly. Okay, and we can browse here and upload a PowerPoint presentation from my computer. We'll take the same sample. And it will ask me, where do you want to upload it? Because if I want to show it on the team, I have to upload it. So I'll upload it to class materials and click upload file. Now it's uploading and it will start sharing once it's done uploading. I'll just take a sip of water. Now we have the file being shown, or the PowerPoint being shown to the students, but on Teams directly. So here I can navigate between the slides. I can go right and left, or I could go right by clicking. If I click here, to go to the next slide. Okay. So I can go right and left here. What's the disadvantage of using this way of sharing is that I cannot annotate the slides. I cannot write on the slides. That's the disadvantage of this option. Okay, and we see here this I button. It says prevent participants from moving through shared slides on their own. So now, even though I'm on the second slide, the students can move between the slides as they like. So they will not be following me. Okay, so it's a pretty nice idea to click it. And now it will be locked. Whichever slide I am on, the students will also be on. So as we said, the disadvantage is I cannot write here on the slides. That's why I prefer the second option, which is sharing a single window. And whenever I'm done, I could stop presenting by clicking here. But one advantage of this way is that when someone raises their hand, I am inside Teams, so I will be able to see it. On the other hand, the first sharing option, I will not be able to do that because I will have a full screen and Microsoft Teams will not show me that someone raised their hand. So that's a problem with the full screen or that way of sharing, but it's really important to annotate your slides. So I would prefer that way, but it's up for your preference and how you want to explain your material, basically. Hopefully they update this feature later on, but that's the thing. You cannot see that someone raised their hand. So a good option that you can do when you have a full screen of PowerPoint is that after each slide or after each point that you go through, you could ask the students. If someone has a question, unmute your mic and ask me. So that's a good way to interact with the students. Okay, so now we'll stop presenting and we're done presenting. Okay, and the last option is the whiteboard, but that's basically not very useful for educators right now. It is very limited in its options and it doesn't allow me to lock the screen so that the student follow where I am on the whiteboard. So that's not very useful. So I would recommend that you just share a PowerPoint slide from your desktop and have empty slides on it that you can annotate and use as a whiteboard. Okay, so this is about the sharing options. And now we're basically done with the meeting part. We spoke about everything. We want to end the meeting. Should we just hang up? No, that's a big no. Why? If I hang up, the call will stay on and I will leave. But the students will stay on the call and they can interact with each other or whatever. So the better option is to click here on more actions and you'll see end meeting. Okay, so end meeting will close the meeting for everyone. So that's the better option. Before we end the meeting, we have to make sure of two things. We have to make sure that we were recording and that we stop the recording. And it will automatically stop if I end the meeting anyway. And the other thing is, I should always remember to take the attendance. That will have a button here, a download button here, to take the attendance at the end of the class so that I have all the data and not at the beginning of the class. Okay. Once I've done these two, I will click on end meeting. Do you want to end the meeting? Everyone, the meeting will end for everyone. So end. So we ended the meeting, as simple as that. And as I told you, in the post tab of the physiotherapy channel, you'll find here the meeting and whatever I wrote inside the meeting and the recording that we had inside the meeting. Hopefully in the next session, if we have a next session later on this week, we'll show how to make a channel for all our classes to put them in one place. But right now you can find it here in the replies. And any file that you shared will be here. As you saw, we uploaded a PowerPoint slide. We'll find it here. The PowerPoint slide, yeah, it is here. Okay, inside the files tab. Anything we share inside the meeting will be found here. And if someone shares a file inside the chat of the meeting, you'll find it here as well as here in the files section. Okay. And what if the meeting that I made was not associated with a channel? When we made this meeting, we associated it with this channel. What if I didn't do that? Where will this chat appear? It will appear here in the chat button, but we'll not speak about that in this session. We'll keep it for other sessions later. So that's it for the meetings. I hope it was clear. If you could say if I was fast or I was okay, write fast or okay in the chat. And Dr. Munira could tell me. And I think we're out of time at 6 p.m. and we still have assignments left. So it's up to you guys if you want me to continue with the assignments and then we have Q&A. I'm not sure how long that will take. Hopefully just half an hour will be enough. But if you guys want to attend the other session that's on in 5 minutes, you could choose. So please write your opinions in the chat and Dr. Munira will tell me about it.
في بعض الأسئلة بس ما أدري if we should continue to the assignment section and then take the questions or take the questions now.
What are they preferring? Do they want me to continue for assignments or just answer the questions and keep assignments for a later session?
To go ahead. They're saying to go ahead.
Go ahead with the assignments.
Yes.
All right. We'll go ahead with the assignments. Let me minimize this screen. Okay. So assignments. If you want to create assignments, there is an assignments button that will show me all the assignments for all my classes. But if I want to create an assignment for a single class, I'll just go to this theme, which is physiotherapy, and we have the assignments tab here. I'll just click on the assignments tab. Okay. So once I open it, I have to click get started. Let's wait for it to load. Okay. So I'll click get started. Okay, so now I have nothing here in upcoming because I don't have any assignments yet. I'll click on create. I can either create an assignment or a quiz. From existing, this is for any saved assignment that I made later and didn't post. We will not use it now. And the quiz will also not explain it in this session, but we'll speak about assignments. So we'll create an assignment. And it will take me to the window where I'll design my assignment basically. So here I'll write the title. Let's call it homework 1. Okay. And here I can write the instructions. Okay. The instructions if I want, I can write the questions for the homework here, but it's better to write them in a folder and then add it as a resource. So here I could add things like make sure that you upload your answers as a PDF file. Include a cover page with your name and ID. Okay, so that's an instruction that I could write. And of course I could format it as I like. Okay, and then I can add the resources. So I'll click on add resources to attach my assignment or my questions. And here it opened my OneDrive. It can open I can take one from the class note, which we'll talk about later. We can choose a file from Teams. But the best option is to always upload from my device or upload from my computer. So I'll go down here and click on this. I'll see that I have on the desktop assignment 1 as a PDF folder, and I'll upload it. We'll wait for it to upload. It was uploaded. Click on done, and it was added. So if the student opens it, he will see this assignment. I wrote 5 or 4 questions inside this PDF. Okay. Then I'll choose the points. How many points does this homework has? Typically, people put 100. You can put anything you like. And later on, you'll see that teams will give you the grade for each homework from 100 or whatever grade you put. And then you can export it to Excel and get the average. So it's better to keep all the homeworks having the same amount of points, 100 or 10 or 50, so that you can average it easily later using Excel by exporting all the grades. Okay. Then you'll have the assign to. We'll assign this to physiotherapy class 101. We're already in physiotherapy, so it chose physiotherapy immediately. And we want, sorry, all the students to see it. 1 second. Okay. So we want all students in physiotherapy to see it. So we don't want to change any of these, but we could add different teams. So I have this class 1, it's a different team. I could add it here so that I create the same homework for two different classes, for example. And I want all students to see it, or I can choose specific students to see it, but I want everyone to see it. Okay, then here we have this button. Don't assign to students added in this class in the future. What does this mean? If I assign the homework now, and tomorrow a student joins the class using the code that I provided, he will not be able to view this homework. So we don't want that. So click on edit here. Okay, and we want to make it visible to all students in the future. Assign to all students added to this class in the future. We click on done. All right, so now it will be assigned to all students added to this class in the future. Now we have the due date and due time. So we can change the due date for maybe next Thursday. And yeah, next Thursday. And it will be done at 11:59 p.m. So right at the end of the day. Okay, this is the due date. But there are other things you can do. You can have a post date, a due date, and a close date. 3 different dates: post, due, and close. How do we see those? We'll click here on this edit button below the due date. It will open this pop-up window. We have a schedule to assign in the future. This is the post date. Do I want to assign the homework right now, or do I want to put it and the program automatically post it to the student on a specific date? For myself, I will not assign it to the future. If I want to assign it to be posted in the future, I'll click here and then choose a date. But I don't want to do that. I'll keep it posted right now. Why is this feature useful? If you want to set up 10 homeworks at the beginning of the course, you can set up 10 homeworks and choose the post date for each one corresponding to the class you'll explain that homework in. Okay. And then you have the due date, which we chose already on Thursday. And then we have the close date. The close date automatically is set the same as the due date. But if I click here, I can edit it to make it, for example, on Sunday. What is the close date? The close date basically allows the student to submit a folder after the due date, but it will be posted as a late homework or late submission of a homework. If I want to allow that, I'll put a close date, and I will tell him, for example, anyone who submits late, I will deduct 20 points, for example. Or if I don't want to do that, I'll remove the close date, and it will stay the same as the due date. So once the due date is hit, the homework will close. But if I put a close date later, after the due date, it will not close. Students will still have 3 days to upload. So you choose what you want. And once I'm done with choosing all the settings that I want, this sentence will basically tell me what will happen with this homework. It's a summary to everything that I put in this setting. It will tell me when it will be posted. Assignment post immediately. So it will be posted immediately. And it's due on Thursday. Late turn-ins allowed until Sunday. Okay, so it gives me a summary of everything that I choose. So this is a very nice feature here. We'll click on done, and that will be saved. And here, the same summary, we have it here. We have, it's telling me when the late turns in are allowed. And once again, if I want to edit it, it's here. I'll edit it here. Okay. And lastly, it will tell me which channel do I want to post this this homework to. So I automatically it's posted to the general channel, or I could edit and choose different channels. Let's see. Yeah, I can choose the discussion channel. I cannot choose the private channel because it's a private channel, so I will not see it here. But generally, let's keep everything formal, be in the general. So also homeworks will only be in the general, and we'll keep discussion, for example, for any discussions. Okay, we'll click on done. It will be posted to general. Now I'm done with the assignment. I could either discard it because I didn't like it, for example, or I could save it so that I could edit it in the future and post it. Do you remember when we spoke about from existing, when we wanted to create the assignment? This will be posted there, the from existing. So anytime I want to edit it later, I can go to from existing and edit it. It will not be visible to the students. It will only be saved on my computer so that I can further edit it later. Okay, but we want to assign it. If we click on assign, it will do what settings we put here. So we wanted to put if we wanted it to be posted immediately. So as soon as I click assign, it will be posted to all students. Maybe it's stuck here. Let's come back to this screen. For some reason, it didn't show it here. Let's go here. 1 second. Physiotherapy 101. Okay, I guess I know what happened. Let's just click on get started again. Okay. Yeah, just click on get started. This is the assignment that we created. Here are the drafts. Drafts is if you hit save. If you hit save, it will come here to drafts and only you can see it and you can edit it later. Here is the assigned homework, which is the homework that you assign to students, and tell me 0 out of 1 turned in. There's only 1 student in my class and no one submitted yet, so 0 out of 1 turned in. So it will tell me when everyone turned it in. Okay, and here in graded, you'll only get this homework. Come down here to graded when you grade all the homeworks one by one, submitted by all the students after the deadline. Okay, then it will come here and it will be a graded assignment. So as we said, if we wanted to edit an assignment, it will be here so that we can edit it in the future by clicking create and setting from existing, or just clicking on it when it's here and we can edit it. Okay. What if we want to edit an assignment that we already made? Let's open it and see the window. Okay, it will open here. This is the assignment that I made, homework 1. It's telling me the due date and the close date. You can export to Excel. Why do you want to export to Excel? Because here we will have all the student names. Okay, and the grade for each one and the feedback that I want to insert to each one. But we'll see when we'll do that. We'll do it in the grades tab instead of doing it here. But if we did it here, we can export it to Excel. Okay. Now we want to talk about editing. We said we want to edit. So here you can see edit assignment. So if I want to make any updates, I don't want them to include a cover page, for example. So I remove this section and click on update. And when I update it, it will also tell the students in the general channel that I updated it. Okay. Let's go to the general channel. Here you can see the homework that I assigned to the students. And down here, it said that it was modified because I edited it. Okay. And they will get a notification about this. An assignment you put, they'll get a notification about it. Okay. So we saw how we can edit an assignment. And if we want to see how the student is seeing this assignment, we'll click on student view. Student view, it shows me. The student will see this window. It will tell him homework 1, due date, close date, 100 points available, the instructions, the material that I provided. They can open it online or download it or open it in Teams. And here they'll have the student work. They will be able to have an upload button here that they can upload their work to. Another thing that we can do is I can upload a Word folder for them and tell them to fill it in and then upload it. That's another option that we can do. Okay, so this time I uploaded a PDF, but next time I could put a Word folder and they can edit it on their computer and then repost it with their answers. and that's basically up to you. Okay, so we know how to edit assignments now and how to see the student view. Sorry, I have a bad throat. Okay. So now we want to see how to grade homeworks. To do that, I'll go to a previous class that I created, class 1. Okay, and go to the assignments there. I have 2 assignments in this class. You can see I have one in the graded zone and one in the homework zone. Here I have 2 students and only one turned in. And this is an assignment that I already graded. If I open it, I can see that I'm all done. I click here, graded, returned, returned. Returns me that I returned the folder to the student, and I also gave him his grade. And I also, okay, I didn't write them feedbacks this time, but we can write them feedback. We'll see how. Okay, we'll go back. So this is the graded, and we graded assignments, and we said we can export them to Excel from inside. And this is the second homework that I didn't grade yet. How do I look at all the results and grade them? Let's go to grades. Sorry. So when we go to grades, I'll see each student and every homework he has. Even if he had quizzes, we'll see homework 1, homework 2, quiz 1, quiz 2, and so on and so forth. So this is the table that you want to export at the end of the course or the semester. You click here on the top right corner, you click export to Excel, and you'll get all the results for each student with each column specifying what this homework or quiz was. And it's that's why I told you to make them of similar points, all of them 100, for example, so that you can average them later. Okay, so I can click here. I already submitted his grade, but I can open his work and change the grade anytime I want. Okay, if I made a mistake, for example, I'll open it and do it. But this time we'll look at this one. So Mohammad turned in, this is also Mohammad, my different account. But this guy turned in his homework. So I want to view it. I click on open student work. Okay. So it's showing me here, this is Mohammad. And this is, he uploaded 2 files. This is the answers file. And if I click here, it will show me his cover page. This is his cover page. So I can navigate between the files he uploaded. Okay, to see them. It only has 1 page. Otherwise, I would have been able to zoom, go around the pages and all that. So I saw the homework. I liked it. I'll write him excellent work. And I could write, for example, if I deducted 2 marks for the first question, I could write that for him. 2 marks were deducted for question 1. And I could tell him why and explain the right answer to him. Okay. And then I can insert the grade here. Let's give him 98. And then I click return. But first, a good practice to do is to only return homeworks after the close date, so that the students cannot copy each other's homeworks. You know, if I return it now and another student did not turn in his homework yet, he could copy the answers, for example, you know, so, or know the right answers. So I shouldn't return it until the close date. Okay. And what if I want to see other students? I can click here. It will show me the full list and I can search. Or I can go right and left between students. This one didn't attach any work yet. Okay. And the last thing I think I want to explain is viewing the history. This will show me that this homework was assigned on this day. Mohammed viewed it on this day, and he turned it in on this day. If I return the homework, it will show returned. Okay, it will add a 4th row and it will say returned on this date. After I return the homework, if I returned it before the close date, Mohammed can upload again. He can upload a different homework and I will have to grade it again. So that's why I'm telling you, it's better to grade all the homeworks after the close date so that no student updates his answer or anything. Hopefully in the future, Microsoft Teams works on this problem of limiting students how many times they can turn in their homework. And the sad thing is that I can only see the last date that he turned in on. So let's say he viewed it, turned in, and then I returned it, and then he turned in again. I cannot see the date of the first time he turned in. I can only see the date for the second time. That's another issue that with Microsoft Teams right now, but hopefully they update it later. Okay, so let's close it. And I put the grade here, but I didn't return it yet. I only put the grade and the feedback, and it was saved, but I didn't return it. If I want to return it, I'll click here. But as I said, only return the homeworks after the close date. So you can do all of them, but not return them. Only do them for yourself. After the close date, you can return them all. Okay. And as I said, you can export to Excel. If you do that, it will go to the downloads folder. So we'll go to the downloads folder. Sorry, downloads. We'll find it here. Class 1 grades, because this team is called class 1, and gave me the date and time that I exported in. Okay, so I'll find it here. And I think that's it. We're done with all the agenda. I hope it was clear. I hope it was useful. I hope you enjoyed it. And sorry for my sore throat. And thank you all. We can go to the Q&A if you guys like.
Jazakallah. Okay,
we have a
question. We'll try to go through as much as we can. سؤال, what is faster and does not cause delay in sharing a PowerPoint in a class? Is it through the class material or sharing the desktop?
Sharing the desktop, when sharing the desktop, you'll be sharing more data. If you share a PowerPoint folder that you cannot annotate on, only inside Teams, I mean, it will have less lag because you'll only upload it and then it's uploaded and everyone downloaded it and that's it. You can just move through and it will not cause any delays or anything. But when you're sharing your desktop, you're continuously sending data to the student and he's downloading data. So if you don't want to annotate and draw on the slides, I would say that you should share the slides inside Teams itself. It would be the better option.
Okay. في سؤال شوي يمكن أنا ما أدري إذا واضح ولا لا. Can I edit in the students' homework and can they see it? I think this was answered live.
When you mean edit, you mean edit their homework? You cannot touch their homework. You can only write feedback to them.
Yes, mark it. Yeah.
You can only mark it and write feedback to them. If you want to edit the assignment that you made, you can edit it as we saw, but you cannot touch the answers that the student uploads. You can only write feedback on it.
Okay. في سؤال, how do you clear the history of calls?
Calls? This calls button? We didn't cover this in this session. It will be covered in the next advanced session, hopefully. Okay. But today, this session was focused on how a teacher can now go into Teams, make a class, and have online lectures and give assignments to students, which is the most basic and important part. The chats and calls are, I believe, they are secondary to a teacher. Maybe it's useful for the office hours. So we kept it for the next session, hopefully, in the future.
Okay. في سؤال. عفوا. في سؤال من يعني أنا من دكتور إن if they're running شوية, I don't know if they're running, for example, 2 different classes but they'll give them the same lecture. يعني كلاس مشترك بين شعبتين مثلا. What's the best way to do it? You could
either have one team for both classes, and each class will have a different channel.
Yes.
And you can associate both channels and invite all students. The other way you could do it is you can have 2 separate teams, but when you make the lecture and you schedule the meeting and the required attendees part, add all of them for both classes one by one, so that they all get the invite and they'll both join the class.
يعطيك العافية.
الله يعافيك. That's it.
في شيء مو واضح مكتوب can I download a file that was stored by different tools like editing studies. I believe this was written.
I don't quite understand. If the one who asked the question could raise his hand and we can unmute him maybe.
Or we can clarify via chat.
Saud Al-Eidi. Could you unmute his mic, please, Doctor? We can.
I'm not getting it in my window.
Oh. I don't know. Can anyone unmute Saud Al-Eidi, please? Because I cannot view. No?
Can you see a raised hand, Mohandes?
I saw that Saud Al-Eidi raised his hand, but it just popped up as a notification.
Yeah, I can't see.
If you could look for his name, maybe Saud in the participants. SAUDALOBAIDI. MA raised hand also. Who's MA? If there are any extra questions, please, if you could add them in the Q&A section.
Yes.
It would be better than unmuting people.
Yes. I agree. ما قاعد تطلع لي أنا مو كل الاتtendees طالعين لي بس we want to just mention that we will have a more advanced session inshallah.
Yes.
Coming this week. We will email all the the attendees of this webinar. And
Yes.
I think a lot of the questions, if they are in the advanced section of Teams, they will be answered then. But I think for now, أنت ما يبين عندك بس ما شاء الله جاوبنا through the Q&A. Between us, we answered a lot of the questions.
Okay,
so
that's great. And for the next session, if you guys are okay with longer sessions, 2 hours, for example, this one was 2 hours also, but I mean, we can have more time for Q&A. If you can ask any question you like, and I can see if I can answer it, even if I don't explain it in that session, we could have some time just for extra Q&A, you know? So if you have unrelated questions to what we said now, in the next session, hopefully, if you want to stay as long as possible, we will stay up to 3 hours if you guys like. And if, of course, Badr Shatti from Jarrab would be so kind to allow us, of course. Because once again, I'd like to thank them for providing this webinar room for us.
We would like to thank you, Mohandes Mohammad, and thank you for your time and your very clear explanations going point by point. Nice. Inshallah, you will give us the resource file that you have,
yes.
And we have the recording. So, and yes. There were a few people who commented, and can you repeat or can you recap? Because we have the recording and we are short in time, inshallah, you can recap via the videos, بإذن الله.
Yes. And another point, sorry, Dr. Munira, another point, I have made the YouTube videos. It's a playlist of 12 videos. They last 1 hour and a half, so even less than this session. And I go into details, into many details. So we could also provide them, when we provide you after this meeting with a document, we'll also provide a small link that will take you to that YouTube playlist. I'm pretty sure it will have a lot of answers to your question, and I will explain all the buttons there, and I will go through the program from A to Z there. So hopefully that is useful too, and we will share it.
يعطيكم العافية ومشكورين.
Thank you.
مشكور مرة ثانية أستاذ المهندس محمد وأستاذ بدر، شكرا على الشانل hosting us. وشكرنا موصول لجرب ولكل من حضر اليوم. Sorry, I switched to Arabic. I realized I should be talking English. We have a lot of English speakers. Thank you all for attending. And we hope that we will let you know soon about our next webinar, and hope that you gained a lot of benefit from the current one. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.